to another episode of the program. This is week number 2 in our series of learning the new language by Apple called Swift. Last week, in our very first week, we learned some language basics, the hello world type of stuff that you would learn in a new language, how you define variables, basic things like that. This week we're going to go to the next level and we're going to learn about classes and structures and all the things that go along with that, including protocols and a bunch of other things as well. So we're going to take it to the next level this week. Before we go do that, I want to thank you for watching. Thank you for spreading the word. All of our shows are doing really good on this network, much better than what I had expected it to go for being so soon for this series. I think I'm getting a lot of people coming from a couple other shows. But if you haven't seen any of our other shows, go check out tech-zen.tv and you can see all of our other shows. We have all kinds of fun things you can watch, from security-related shows to learning the Mac, to learning how to do things in electronics and Arduinos. So we have lots of stuff, and we're going to bring on new stuff all the time. So go check out tech-zen.tv. You can get copies of this show and all of our shows at most of the podcast directories, like iTunes. It seems to be one of our most popular ones. You can get it on Dogcatcher, anywhere you can get a podcast, you can probably find us there. And if you find somewhere that we're not, please let us know. We'll make sure that we add ourselves so that we are there for everybody that's using that directory. You can also watch us on Roku. If you have a Roku, you can install our app, and you can watch us on your big screen on the TV. So no longer is it small on your computer screen. However, if you travel a lot, if you travel on the metro or something like that, you want to watch us, you can always download us to your portable device and watch or listen to us. This show is probably better to actually watch because just listening may be a little difficult sometimes. But we definitely do appreciate that. And if you buy things on Amazon a lot, if you go to our tech-zen.tv website, there's an Amazon link at the top. If you drag that to your favorites bar, and when you order things through Amazon, you use that link, we just get a small percentage, like 2% of the money. It doesn't cost you anything extra, and it just helps us to fund some of our network costs and things we buy to keep the shows going here at Tech-Zen TV. All right, that's it for the management stuff. We're going to go ahead and we're going to go into the other room to my computer, and we're going to walk through some classes and some structures in Swift, and then we'll come back and we'll say goodbye. All right, this week we're going to start talking about classes. Then we're going to get into some structures and then some enumerations for this week. All right, so let's first of all start with a simple class, and we're going to call our class vehicle. So we say it's a class, and we name it vehicle. And in like normal, everything that goes in these parens is part of the class. And we're going to say, what's some common things about this class? What's one thing that all vehicles have? Well, they have wheels. So we need to know how many wheels. So we're going to say the number of wheels, just like that. And I'm going to say by default it's equal to 0, because what kind of vehicle that it is. Now I want to add a function, and let's make it a very simple one just to demonstrate how you put a function into a class. So I'm just going to do function, and it's going to call it a simple description. So it'll bring out the simple description of the vehicle. And it's going to return a string. And the function is going to be simply to return a vehicle with, let's say I want to return how many wheels it is. So I'm going to, in the middle of the string, I'm going to be to include a variable and just do the backslash, and then in parens I put in the variable number of wheels, and I can auto-complete it there. And then I'm going to add, the vehicle with blank wheels, just like that. And there's our first class. So let's look and see how this class now functions. So we're going to come down here, and we're going to find a new variable. And remember, the language is case sensitive, so I could actually name a variable, and I'm going to do this, the same as the class. But the class is capital V. I'm going to name this one lowercase v. And I'm going to say it is equal to the vehicle. And I need to set the number of wheels. So you see over here the default variable is 0 for number of wheels, but I'm going to do vehicle And remember, auto completes tab. I thought it would do that, but period. And I'm going to say number of wheels, and it is equal to 4. So a typical car has 4. And now you see the number of wheels over here has been changed to 4. And then I'm going to just do this just to demonstrate. I'm going to create another variable, and we're going to call it car description, and it is equal to vehicle. You have to spell it right. Vehicle, and then simple description, just like so. And you'll see over here, right here, a vehicle with 4 wheels. So we change this. I could on the fly change this to be a trike, for example, and you see a vehicle with 3 wheels. Just that simple. All right, so now we're going to do another class. Actually, let's modify this class. So we want to make this class a little bit more descriptive. So I'm going to add a variable here, and the variable is going to be the make of the car. And so the make of the car is going to be a string, and I'm not going to define anything in it right now. And then I want to add an init function. So what are you trying to tell me? Has no initializers. Well, it's right. It doesn't have any initializers. So that's not actually a major problem, actually, but I'm going to do that now. I am going to add an initializer. And the initializers I'm going to pass in when I initialize the make, which is a string, just like that. And this function is going to do something very simple. It's going to take and set the variable of make to something. So in this case, I'm going to set this variable that's in myself, which is in my class, and the variable name is make, and it is going to be equal to the make that I send in here. So it'd be make, just like that, and add a little line. So you see self.make is equal to make. These are different because self.make points to the class make, and the make that I'm passing in, it points to the make that I have right here in this function. All right, so one of the things down here you're going to notice is giving this little error, and that is because I do not have a description or a make of the vehicle. So I'm going to come in here, and something different about classes is when you pass in variables to functions and classes, you have to give it the name that you are passing in. So I'm passing in the make, and I'm going to say Ford, for example, just like that. So far all of our errors have gone away, but I still want to make the description a little bit more descriptive. So I'm going to say a, and then I'm going to put the variable of make in here. So I do backslash and in parens make vehicle with these number of wheels, and you'll see right here it says a Ford vehicle with 3 wheels. Well, I'm going to go back to the 4 wheels, and I should capitalize the F in Ford just because it's a proper name, and you see that quickly a Ford vehicle with 4 wheels. So we have now added an initializer, so that is called every time the class is initialized. You can also create a dint, which will run whenever the class is being destroyed as well. So let's come down here and let's see. I want to create another class of vehicle, and I'm actually going to override. This is I'm going to show you an override. So let's do this. We're going to define another class right here, and this class is going to be called race car, and it is an override, which you'll see here in a second. Okay, we're going to call this one, it's an override of vehicle, and then we can define this new class. So it has inherited everything that we did in the vehicle class right here. So we have number of wheels and we have make in our class now because we have included it into our new class right here. And I want to override the simple description function just because I want to say something different. So I'm going to override, does I spell that right? Override function simple description, yes, string override function simple description, and then I'm going to put inside of here, I want to return something different, so I'm going to return and we're going to do make again race car with, and then I'm going to say number of wheels and wheels, period. And now we're going to come down here and we are going to create a new class called race car that is equal to race car, and we're going to make it, we're going to put the same variable we did before because it still has to have that variable. This time we're going to say forward again, and then oops, unquote forward. Then we're going to say the race car number of wheels is equal to 4, and it isn't like something that I'm doing because I didn't highlight it properly. Let's see. Oh, it's because I don't have the word far at car here. There we go. And then we're going to do description. This is just mainly for us to be able to see what the output is. So we're going to do race car simple description, just like that, and get rid of this. There we go. And now we see we have a Ford race car with 4 wheels. So what I have done is create a new class, and it's based upon this class we created up here, and I've now overridden one of the functions that are in there. So let's go a little bit farther here, and we're going to do a few more modifications, and we're going to talk about getting and setting variables. So we're going to use our original class up here, and I'm going to add a couple things to it. I also want to know what color it is, so I'm going to create a variable called color, and that'll be a string because it's a text word. And then I'm going to also create a variable for the color of the pinstripes. So these are going to be the pin color, the pinstripe colors, just like that. And I'm going to come down here to init, and by default I want some certain colors. So what I'm going to do is do self, and one of the things I'm going to show you this in a second here, color. So our default is going to be red. Race cars are always red, right? So we're going to say it's red, just like that. Now let's look at, let me clean up my little mess I just made here because it should be quoted. There we go. What this is going to tell us is we still have another variable that's not initialized. So I've created another variable called pin color. So here we go. Property self pin color is not initialized. Well, what it's trying to say is anything you define up here doesn't have a value to it. It wants you to initialize it in this init function. So I'm going to do that one too. We're going to say that pin color is going to be white because it's red with white pinstripes. There we go. And there you see our error goes away. And then we're going to come down here and we are going to do a get and set routine. So you'll notice down here I'm setting things, and I can get things just by doing it vehicle.number of wheels. That's something that's built into the class functions. You don't got to do anything special for that to happen. But let's say you wanted to do something whenever you set or get a value. Maybe you have to calculate the return value every time somebody wants a particular value. Or maybe when you import a new or set a new value, you want something to happen. So that's what we're going to do that. So we're going to do this with colors. So let's come down here and we're going to create a function. So we're going to define a new variable, first of all, of called colors, because it's going to be both of the colors of the pinstripe in the car. So we're going to create a new variable called colors, and it's a string variable. So that looks normal. That's how you create variables inside the language, right? Here's what you can do inside a class. Inside of your curly braces, you can now do get. And this is what we're going to do. Is basically is a function. So we're going to do get, and anything within these two right here will be done whenever you do a get. Now we're also going to, while we're in here, we're going to do a set. So it works the same way. You just type the word set, and anything in these two braces is going to happen during the set. So what I want to do is when you get the colors, I'm basically going to return to the getter a value, and I'm going to put in there self.color, and I'm going to do a different kind of string manipulation right here. So I'm going to add things together instead of including those values inside of like this. I could have done it this way right here, which we've already done, but I wanted to do something a little different to show you how you can concatenate strings together. So yes, we could have said in quotes, slash color, and then the rest of the text. We're going to do it like this, just to give you a quick example. So width, and then pin color, and then pinstripes. I don't need to capitalize pinstripes. All right, so that's our get function now. So we're actually returning a combined string versus returning just a particular value of colors. And with set, we're going to do things a little different too. We're going to do some automation in the set function. This is just to demonstrate what you can do in a set if you're just not doing a simple set value. So everything comes in as a new value. So what we're basically going to say is if the new value is equal to red or new value is equal to blue, and I should probably capitalize these since they are proper names. Red or new value is equal to blue, and then we want to let's see, we're going to set the pin color by default to white. So red and blue cars have white pinstripes. Let's see, pin color is equal to white, and if it's not red or blue, we're going to say, let's say, get back here. So we're going to else back a type. We're going to say that there is no pinstripes, so we're going to say pin color is equal to no, just like that. So let's see, it's complaining about something that we did. Let's go look and see what that is. Oh, I uppercased the value and new value, and it's actually lowercase n. All right, so that is all solved. And then what we're going to do is we're going to set color of the car. Since we're setting the color, we're setting the colors at this point. We want to go ahead and change the color of the car as well. So we're going to do the color, and it's equal to new value. And we'll demonstrate that here as well. And let's see, we're going to change our simple description function here a little bit too. Let me make a little space so we can separate them and visually see the difference. So we're going to say it is and I'm going to use the other style of inclusion right here. Color of a car, color, and then we'll leave the make, vehicle with say we'll put the pin colors here. So we do pin color, pinstripes, and number of wheels. All right, so this should just read like a red Ford vehicle with white pinstripes and 4 wheels, for example, is how it should read when that comes out. All right, so now what we need to do is we need to come down here to our class. So this is on the race car thing. Let's get rid of the race car thing, bring it down. And we need to do our vehicle creation for Ford. And let's see. you'll notice it says a red Ford vehicle with white pinstripes and and 4 wheels. So it gives you a little bit of a description of what we're going to do here. But we're going to actually change the color. So what we're going to do is we're going to make it a blue car. So vehicle color, and we're going to make it equal to blue. And you should see right away that it's a blue Ford vehicle with white pinstripes. But let's see if we make it a black. Now it says a black Ford vehicle with, oh, it still says white pinstripes. So why does it say white pinstripes? Let's go up here and look. It should not be saying white pinstripes. It should be saying no pinstripes. Pin color equals no. A black Ford vehicle with white pinstripes. Well, something's not quite working. And do you want to know why? I can tell you why right now. So we aren't actually calling this function at the moment. We've set our pinstripe color to white by default. So if I would come down here and I would say that the colors are equal to black. Now it says no pinstripes. So you saw right there that what I was doing is I was setting color, but was not setting the colors of the car. So in this particular case, I need to call colors for it to do this set function right here. So now you'll see it's a black Ford vehicle with no pinstripes. And again, if I come back and I make it a blue, you'll see it's now a blue Ford vehicle with white pinstripes and 4 wheels. So you can see right there how the get and the set now work. This is not something that's required. You can see if you want to do some kind of function after you do a get, or do you have to do function to get the value for the get, and you need something after you do the set, or to make the set work. That's how you can do this. This is not required. I could just very easily come in here and make colors equal to a string that you can set, although it would not work exactly like this. So, and let's see. I think that's pretty much it for the classes. So what I want to do now is that's basic class. I mean, it's not earth-shattering changes for most languages, and most classes work very similar to that. There is some neat things they do a little differently, but overall it's a very quick learn if you're familiar with classes in other languages. But let's go here. Let's talk about structures now. Very simple. I'm actually going to create a structure called car. So to do that, we just do a struct, just like that. And we're going to call it car since we're on the car theme. And everything in brackets defines the structure. And you basically define your variable. So let's do our first variable, which will make it wheels, since we started with that up top. And wheels is an integer, just like that. And our next variable was make. So we're going to do var and just make. And there we go, string. And then our last one was color. So we're going to do var color, just like that. And it's a string. So there we are. We've created our very first structure. Or not quite yet. No, I didn't put my colon here. There we go. So we've created our very first structure. Very simple. So how do you use a structure? Well, here's the thing about structures compared to classes. This is confusing to some people. A class is something that you don't create. It is an object. It is basically, this is what this object is. A structure can be a structure that's put into an array. A structure is going to put into a class. So it's basically similar to an object, but yet it's more like an array than an object, a very structured array. It's kind of how to look at it. Now, in this language, they've expanded that. So there's a lot grayer area between the two, because a structure can do a lot more than a typical structure can in most languages. So what we're going to do here, though, is just do a real quick example. We are going to create a variable, And so we're going to do this. We're going to say this is be our core vet. So we're going to call it the vet. Just like that. And it is equal to what car is. So it's a car. So we basically define a new variable type. But this car has other values you can set. And right there you can see as soon as I put the paren, it shows you what they are. So we basically, just like this, can come in and say it has 4 wheels. And it's make. And this time we're going to do a Corvette. Just like so. And then we are going to do the color. And it's going to be a red Corvette. Just like that. So we have now created a variable a structure called vet. Now let's see, did I misspell something? Oh, yeah, I have color capitalized up here. Let's not do that. That should fix our problem. All right, and we're going to come on down here and we're going to show you what we just did. So I want to say, what is vet color? Just like that. You'll see on the right hand side over here, it says it's red. So that is its option right there. So I could have done all this actually in a class as well. But what this allows me to do is create a whole bunch of these and put them into an array if I wanted to, and be able to pull them out and then get the details. So very similar. What you can do, just not quite as powerful as what a class is, and just used slightly differently. But again, I come here and look at all this. So I can see I have all these variables. I want to see its make, for example. There's the make. It's going to come up. It's going to say Corvette. So I can get the same data out of a structure. So it's real quick. It's very similar to the structures in other languages. Nothing earth-shattering there either. So let's go into another one. This is called an enumeration. And this one's a little bit difficult to grasp at first, but if you think about it, it's actually a very quick way of giving values to things that are in succession to each other. And I'm actually going to use their example that they gave in their when you go through the Apple stuff of cards, because I can't think of anything that's better than a deck of cards, because a deck of cards is basically 4 sets of the same numbers, 1 through basically 13. And it's a great way of enumerating. You can do this with dice or whatever else as well. But the example that I'm going to show you here shows 2 enumerations, and it just makes it a little bit easier maybe to understand. So what we do enum, which is for enumeration, and we're going to call this rank as far as like a card rank goes. And it really is an integer that we're creating. So we come in here, and our very first thing is the ace. So we're going to say that ace is equal to 1, and so now we have set where our enumeration starts, which is ace. So the very first thing we set, I could have put 9 in here, and then when I go to the next one, it's going to make it 10. But we are starting at 1. Ace is equal to 1, and then it's as simple as doing this. So what's the next one? Well, it's 2, and then 3. And then 4, then 5, then 6, then 7, then 8, 7, 8, 9, and then 10. But we still have some cards that are left. So we're going to come down here, we're going to do this. We're going to do the next line. And I could have put these on the same line, it wouldn't matter. It just makes it separate off a little bit. We now have a jack, we have queen, and we have king. So let's think about this. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and now here's 13. King's going to be the 13th. And I need to put a comma in here. Just like that. So if I want to get this out, so what I can do inside of an enum is also I can create functions, kind of like you can in a class. So think of it kind of like that. So this rank can have a function. So let's say I want to create a function that just describes which card it is, and I want to describe it based upon the actual name of the card. So let's do it this way. Think about this. So we're gonna do function, and I'm gonna do this again. I'm gonna call it simple description again, just like we did before. And it's gonna return a string, and I'm going to do a switch statement. And the switch statement is going to be based on the value of the enumeration rank. So that's itself. What's this value? Because basically the enumeration of this rank is going to have its own value, which is called self. All right, and then in the switch statement, I'm going to basically do a case statement and say it's the ace. What I want to return is ace. That's what it is. It's an ace. And then in the case of, let's say, what's the next one we do? It should be Jack, Queen, and King. So we do Jack. So if this value is equal to a Jack, I'm going to return Jack, just like that. And let's do the Queen next. So it's Queen, and we're going to return Queen. And then we're going to do case King. And I know I'm seeing the errors. I'm going to go through figure out what those are in a second. Queen. Oh, I see what they are already. King. So after I do this case statement, I need colons, and I didn't have colons. That's why it was not doing this case statement, because it aligns its cases with the left switch, and I don't necessarily like that. It's not my way of doing things. So, and it's going to complain now because we don't have a default, which I need a default just to get the numbers out, because I'm not going to do each one individually. But it's probably going to say must be exhaustive, so default, and we do need a default, and I'm going to show you why here in a second. Because so far I've done all the named cards, but I don't want to do every single number. So here's what we do. What'd you do that for? We are going to return a string value of our self. So self. However, since we are a integer, we need to dump it. We need to do this to raw function. So we do this assumption and to raw, just like that. And now we're going to return a string version of ourselves. I think that's right. Self dot to just to be uppercase string. There we go. All right. So now what we've created is an enumeration, and it starts with ace is equal to 1. 2 is equal to 2, 3 is equal to 3, on so on and so forth, till we get a Jack, which is 11, 12, and 13. And we can refer to these dot values in a side here. So basically we're saying if we are equal to dot 1, or if we're equal to 1 here, then return ace, and if we're equal to 11, turn Jack, 12, Queen, and so on. And if we're not equal to any of those named cards, I just want to return my number. So let's demonstrate this. We're going to say, well, let's demonstrate a couple things here. Let me show you how you can use this rank as a variable. If you didn't want to do this function, you just wanted to do something very simple, a simple enumeration, say you didn't even have this function in here, you can do it this way. We can say the ace is equal to rank dot ace. And when we do that, you should see that ace equal to rank. I'm sorry, it's var. And why is it not working? Oh, okay. Ace, just like that. So now you see, oh, it's an enum. That's actually, I do want let here then. Okay, so we say we do the way with the var, and you see it comes back as an enum value. Well, what doesn't make any sense necessarily. So you saw before we did this to raw thing. So we could do it like this. To get our value out of it. Or if you are storing it in a longer variable, you could do it like this too. If you didn't want to put it on the end, it would be like raw value equals ace to raw, just like that, and it comes back and you see it has 1. So for our case though, I can just leave it like this just to show you, and then this one won't make any sense. It'll give you an error, just like that. All right. The other thing we could do, actually, no, let me do this. I'm going to undo that because I want to show you about how you actually can call. See, ace is equal to rank.ace, which means it inherits. Get rid of let me get rid of this. So what I do want to do is say ace is equal to rank.ace. So when you do that, it's actually inheriting this simple description. So I have ace equal to that value. I could come down here now and just do ace simple description, and you see it comes back as an ace right here. So I could also do that up here if I wanted to. I could come up here and say simple description, just like that, and it should come back and give me, let me get rid of these, the word ace. So I could come in here just as simple and say that I want it to be Jack, just like that, and you see it comes back as Jack. Or I could say I want it to be 3, just like that. So I'm going to call this card, and I'm actually going to get rid of this extra thing right here just to show you how it probably should be done. Let me put this stuff back in, and I'm going to say it's the card raw value, and it's card, just like so, and it's card. So now you see I'm getting back 3, and 3 is as well. But I could make this 3 equal to a king, for example. And now you see I have king coming back, and the card number is 13. So that's what your enumerations do. Again, you wouldn't have to use simple description at all. You can completely do it just by using to raw, and you could have a list of 1,000 different things in here and give them all a number. That's kind of the strength of the enumeration as well. All right, let's see. What else do I want to cover this week? We're kind of a ways into this. Let's see. I don't want to do anything with ranking this week. I don't think that I do. Let me try something real quick while we're still in this. I may give you another example. Did it? No, it's not going to do what I thought. So, there's a couple of things you can do with rank. You can do a from raw as well. And let me do this. Maybe why it's not working the way I think it is. Yeah, that's why it was. Okay, so I'm going to go back here to like 11. So you can do it the other way around, where if you don't know the name, but you want to know the number. So like I pass in like its value of king or whatever. Right here, you can see that I looked up what is 11, what's in place 11, and it comes back as being Jack because that's what's in place number 11. I want to see what's in slot number 4. I could go 4, just like that. It's going to come back as 4. If I do a 1, obviously it's going to be an ace. So this is the from raw. So it's the reverse of doing to raw. And I could actually do this in a little for loop if I wanted to. And I could list out all the cards, you know, in any order that I wanted. So I wanted to make sure that I cover. I thought I could do that, but I wasn't sure. I wanted to try it out. So you'll see me learn as I go along here as well. So you're learning with me. All right, I think that's all I'm going to cover this week. Next week, I think we may actually get out of the playground and start doing a few more in-depth things actually in Xcode. And maybe we'll start doing some of the code that is going to interface with Windows and things like that as well here very shortly. We'll start setting up that for next week. Maybe head that direction. All this code that we went through today and this right here will be out on the website under the show notes. And if you want to go out and get it and play with it, copy it and do your own thing with it, try doing different types of enumerations and try doing different types of classes and structures and things like that as well. Any questions, please let us know. And if you are watching us on YouTube, please follow us on YouTube and give us a thumbs up on the video. If you're downloading us from somewhere like iTunes, something like that, we definitely appreciate anything you can do to help us out there. And the way you can help us out best on those type of sites is to actually give us a comment and give us a rating. That helps us get found to other people. And if you got friends that are into this kind of stuff, you know, share us with them as well. Definitely appreciate that. That's probably our best way of growing. We do have a Google Plus group if you want to get out there and communicate with us on Google Plus. We always love hearing from people, so if you have show ideas, suggestions, if we say something that's wrong as well, let us know, because you know, we like to make sure everything we say is as accurate as possible, but we know we don't know everything, not even close. So we definitely appreciate any feedback you can give us on the shows as well. And if you have an idea for a new show, I'd love to hear about that too. We just like communicating with everybody that's out there. Like I said, next week, I think we're going to try to head off of just being in the playground and learning the basic language and start putting it into more practice. So that's what we'll be looking forward to do next week. Otherwise, I want to thank everybody, and we'll see you next week. All right, so that was the next step number 2 in learning the Swift language. And as you can see, a lot of thought's been put into this language. They did a lot of things from a lot of other different languages. You saw some things in there that if you knew Objective-C were kind of carried into here as far as like the overrides and the protocol type stuff. That all kind of came from there. So we're now at the point now where we're going to start turning this into more practical uses next week. So be sure that you download next week's episode. Thank you again for watching the program. Again, this is episode number 2 of Learning the Swift Language. And next week, we'll be back and going to the next level with the Swift language. We'll see you all next week. For show notes for this show, contacts, and more, go to the TechZen.tv website where you can get show notes for all of our shows. We love to hear from our viewers and listeners. We have an email, a Twitter, and a phone number where you can contact us for each show. For details, visit the TechZen.tv website and get the show details. You can also make a video and upload it somewhere like YouTube or Vimeo and then just send us a link. You never know, you may see your video in a future show. You can get all of our shows delivered automatically to your favorite device by going to your favorite podcast website like iTunes and subscribing. Each of our shows also has a YouTube channel you can subscribe to get regular updates. Our shows are also available on most internet radio networks like Stitcher and TuneIn Radio. You can also watch and listen to our shows on Xbox, TiVo, and Roku. You can even find us on your Zune. For show notes for this show, contacts, and more, go to the TechZen.tv website where you can get show notes for all of our shows. We love to hear from our viewers and listeners. We have an email, a Twitter, and a phone number where you can contact us for each show. For details, visit the TechZen.tv website and get the show details. You can also make a video and upload it somewhere like YouTube or Vimeo and then just send us a link. You never know, you may see your video in a future show. You can get all of our shows delivered automatically to your favorite device by going to your favorite podcast website like iTunes and subscribing. Each of our shows also has a YouTube channel you can subscribe to get regular updates. Our shows are also available on most internet radio networks like Stitcher and TuneIn Radio. You can also watch and listen to our shows on Xbox, TiVo, and Roku. You can even find us on your Zune.